receive questions often, and somebody prompted it for this Q&A to explain more about what I mean about this positive intention. So I'd like to share a story. Once upon a time, there was a Japanese soldier who, during World War II, was stationed on a little island. And he was stationed there with a troop of other soldiers, but something happened, and that troop of soldiers left or got killed or something like this. And there was one soldier left on the island, right? That soldier, true story, spent 20 years, 20 something years on this island, continuing to fulfill the duty that he was given. Yeah, he was tasked with an objective. He was given an intention for his line of duty, and he was loyal to that. And for 20 years, long after the war was over, he continued to participate. He continued, and for 20 something years, long after the war is over, he continued to fulfill his duty. He was asked to do something, and he continued to do it. One day, the Japanese military gets word that there's a Japanese man in an old World War II uniform shooting at tourist boats off of this little island. And they said, "Oh goodness, what are we going to do?" So the heads of the military got together, and we'll call him the sergeant, had a brilliant idea. So the sergeant goes to the island where this Japanese soldier is, and he sets his desk down on the sandy beach of this island. He sets his desk down and he sits down. And for about 2 days, he waits, because he knew that this soldier's job was to protect the perimeter, to walk the perimeter of this island, to protect the island. And lo and behold, here he comes on the second day. The Japanese soldier sees the sergeant and brushes off his dirty old tattered uniform and presents himself to the sergeant. And he bows to the sergeant. The sergeant bows even deeper to the soldier, which is a deep sign of respect in the Japanese culture. And the sergeant says, "Thank you. Thank you. We asked you to do something long ago. We asked you to defend, to protect this island for us. And for all of this time, you have been loyal to that intention. Thank you. Thank you." The sergeant slowly got the soldier onto the boat, slowly broke the news to him that the war was over, and brought him home to his hometown, where he was met with a parade in his honor to celebrate him, to celebrate his loyalty and his dedication to this intention. And perhaps most importantly, the soldier was able to choose a new line of work, a new profession, a new job. He was able to do something different, something that resonated with him now. Yeah, something that he was really excited to do, that felt good for him. And I have a feeling that man lived very well after that. And so, why do I share this story with relation to the positive intention that we look for in a family constellation session? There are parts of ourself that, as a child, we gave a duty, that we set an intention for, that we asked to do something very important for us. That might have been to keep us safe. It might have been to get us love, or to feel connection, or to have a sense of belonging to our family, to protect us, to feel a certain amount of freedom, or to guard a sensitive part of ourselves. Yeah, every single one of us adopted strategies for taking care of ourselves in some way or another, for getting some of the things that we needed, that we didn't have enough of. We might call them defense mechanisms. We might call them habits or behaviors or dysfunctions or patterns or limiting beliefs. Just like that Japanese soldier, these parts of ourselves have been loyal to the intention that we set for them all of this time. They have been loyally showing up, dedicated to the mission that we gave them, oftentimes when we were a child. And what we do in a family constellation session is look at what is that pattern, belief, behavior, habit, what is that trying to do for you that's good? How is it actually trying to help you? Just like the Japanese soldier, he was fulfilling his duty. He was asked to protect this island and he was doing that. But he was shooting at tourists in their boats, sinking their boats. Doesn't work, not working out. But you can see his positive intention, right? And so a person might be rejecting connection and pushing people away from their life, but it's actually trying to protect them in some way. How beautiful, how beautiful, how exquisite. And what I see over and over and over again is that no matter how dysfunctional a pattern seems to be, once we see the positive intention behind it, we can always recognize that everything's working properly. Actually, it's actually working to specification, by design. It's working the way it was intended to work. However, just like the Japanese soldier, the war may have ended 20 years ago. That may be way outdated. Yeah, it might not have anything to do with what's going on in the times. And so what we get to do is, just like that soldier, we get to bring that pattern home. We get to bring that behavior home, celebrate it, and then give it a new job, right? So if the positive intention was protection, there are a million different ways to feel protected. And what we get to do is update that pattern and shift the way that it was happening to something that actually resonates and works now, given your current context, your current environment. Yeah. And so essentially, if we were to break this down into a few little parts, it's like we are shaped by systems that we didn't consciously choose. Might have been family, culture, the societal environment that we grew up in, our family history, things like that. Most of our suffering comes from an unconscious loyalty to those systems, right? That's the patterns, the beliefs, the behaviors, the habits, the limiting beliefs, unconscious programming, conditioning, things like this. Then when those patterns are made visible, and when we can see and address the positive intention underneath that, right? And the need that's being expressed underneath that behavior, then the choice becomes possible. Yeah. We see how it showed up in the family system. We see how it showed up in our individual life. And then we can create new choices. Yeah. And those choices create ripple effects way beyond the individual. Yeah. It can affect our relationships. It can make that opportunity available to our parents or to our grandparents. It's amazing. It creates transformations in our children almost automatically because they get to receive that wisdom. Yeah. So it has innumerable effects, positive effects, once we follow this general movement of the energy and of the patterns, and we're able to shift them